Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Immersive Sports Science. Sports science, not bro science. And whatever, for some reason, my hair seems to be gone all over the place. But regardless of that, we are here today to talk about how you could earn money potentially from you, or not necessarily from YouTube itself, but as a sports science graduate. What we're going to be first looking at is really what are we trying to do? Obviously, to earn and to gain CPD opportunities, continued professional development. But are we going to do it now in the short term, or are we building up now for the long game? So with the coronavirus lockdown, there has been a lot of opportunities that have been, if you like, snuffed in a way, but there's still opportunities out there. Likewise, in order to gain these opportunities, you have to be adaptive. Think outside the box. These opportunities might not necessarily appear in the forefront. So to give an example, for instance, you could apply somewhere with your skills on your skill based, what you learn, what you know, and apply that to someone and say, hey, I've got these skills. I can set up, for instance, a live stream, or do you need someone to do something to do with sports science, whatever. It's going to be individual to everyone. Likewise, yes, that is a very short-term approach, but it may have long-term gains in the long run. So say, for instance, I got in contact with someone about doing fitness training, and I was able to do that fitness training for them and get paid as a result. From that, I was able to then work for Gymshark, and they obviously pay me now as well. So I gained those opportunities through my own intuition and trying to reach in touch with people. A lot of people don't get in touch with other people who may have those opportunities, or for instance, they may not know that they have these opportunities available. And it's about creating the opportunity in order to gain that work, gain that roles, gain those jobs. Likewise, one thing you could do actually is on Twitter, there is a handle that is trending at the moment. You have to be a little bit careful about what you find, but it's #GetPaid. And people are posting up from different psychological societies, sports science related societies, governing bodies, with potential work they want people to do remotely at home. Believe it or not, they don't have the skills to be able to do these things. Likewise, they're looking to keep people employed in a way, and this is one way of doing it. So going back to our Gymshark, again, for the fitness argument, in order to keep people employed, they're having to create these fitness instructor type roles. People are having to create these feeds. So that's how they're keeping their own staff involved, while also engaging personal trainers and other people to get involved with that work. Likewise, the internet is a new way of getting your information out there, and also your brand, your personal brand, your self-brand. And you're thinking, why is this guy talking about brands? Yes, it's about getting yourself noticed. And there's great sites out there. LinkedIn is on absolute fire at the moment. It's properly burning. So if you want to get started on there, and that's what I'm planning on doing, is getting started on LinkedIn itself in order to get myself noticed for what I'm wanting to do. But likewise, it's a great way of getting many CPD opportunities. You could, for instance, start a YouTube channel and detail your sports science knowledge, or your knowledge in a particular niche, to indicate what you've got. Many people in the strength and conditioning sphere, that's what they do. They highlight what they do with athletes, and then they're able to build up potentially a business, or have some opportunities to get work utilizing YouTube or other social media outlets. That opportunity only gets you on the the footstep of the ladder, but it's a great way of starting. And this links into what I was going to say next, is that you need to focus, or sometimes you may need to focus on getting there. So when we're out of the quarantine, you've got all these skills and processes that make you better suited and prepared for the up and coming potential recession and beyond that recession. The other what you could do is to prepare yourself, not necessarily looking for money as such, but prepare with skills and education. So many people at the moment, and by the way, guys, if there's any resources I mention, I will log them down below. Likewise, if you're getting any personal value from this, smash that like, smash that subscribe. So likewise, if you're getting or want to get value, want to get more education, more knowledge that will help you prepare. Because remember, guys, you've got more time on your hands than ever. Like, no one is actually working. So what are we doing? We're possibly exercising, and we could use this time to better prepare ourselves. So many people are offering courses, free webinars, which you can join up to. And well, some of these are free, some of them are paid, but likewise, you've got great opportunity to get the education you need to help you out of this scenarios we find ourselves and better prepared in a recession. Many of these are graduates who are going to be watching this. So the chances are you are looking for working for work beyond now, but there aren't any jobs necessarily available now unless we look outside the box, or we become entrepreneurial on what we try and achieve and do. So by getting these skills, you can better help prepare yourself to, let's say, go on to accreditation if you're doing sports psychology or some other form of accreditation. By getting the skills now makes it easier in the future. Now, going back onto the payment side of it, okay, that's good, but what ways can I make money now potentially? Now, I was in discussion with a individual who was a musician, but he didn't understand. It was trying to look at what other things you can do outside of necessarily, for him, that would have been singing. So I said to him, why don't you hypothetically say, go on Fiverr and sell your services, not in that kind of way, but sell your services in terms of voiceovers, dubbing, that kind of thing. So it's about thinking outside the box in other related areas that could benefit you personally. So if you do strength conditioning, why don't you sell programs? You could do Amazon affiliates, selling products as such. Although when it comes to the social media element side, it's a lot more helpful if you already have high social media presence itself. And that social media presence could always be built upon, could always be improved, and have a community of people you can sell to. Likewise, selling online is not necessarily selling in face-to-face in public. It's a different approach, and you're not necessarily going to get high returns selling online, especially with Amazon at the moment. So my return rate at the moment is about 4%. So it's not particularly high. In terms of YouTube, they pay you to be on YouTube. Really? What? Really? Yeah, they pay you part of the advertising if you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours for that year. So, but likewise, the returns aren't that much, but it all adds up and it all helps you. And what you should be looking at the moment, there are a lot of people who are getting into YouTube, for instance, who are what we call the COVID creators. They got into it to give themselves something to do. And likewise, the sports science area is pretty much underserviced, I think, in a way. Many people like to view content online, but they don't necessarily like to subscribe. And this content in the sports science field, we need more of it. There's a lot of it in fitness because that's where the money is at the moment. But we need more in the actual sports science areas. So if you are looking to do sports science, maybe create a channel, maybe have a nutrition based channel, a cycling based sports science channel, whatever. Maybe do one on doping, for instance, or the philosophies behind doping. That's another thing you could potentially do. But it highlights the knowledge you know. And this may be useful to someone looking to employ. Yes, you can't write it down on your resume, your CV, and a lot of people do have this idea that YouTube and other social media is just social rants, and to point they are correct, but at the same point they are incorrect. So we have looked at firstly how you could create social media online and potentially monetize that to make money for you utilizing YouTube, but also there are other areas utilizing Amazon affiliates, selling stuff, that kind of thing. You could offer your services online as well. So if I graduated in doing a master's in nutrition, I say, for instance, you're a nutritionist, now you could potentially offer particular services that other people would not be able to do. Meal plans, recipes, free ebooks, that kind of thing. Get them coming in. Sometimes you have to make them have something to make them want more. So you give them a little bit, appease to them, they grab it like a fish and you pull them in. That is the theory. Doesn't necessarily work because you always get that one person who always wants free, and is never going to pay. Doesn't matter what you do. But that is another thing you could potentially do, is offer these services online and create yourself up as an online trainer. And there are a lot of people around at the moment slowly starting to get to that way of thinking because of the quarantine. And what we are likely to see is trends that were possibly being set in 2019 for 2021. This is the future being highlighted and sped up because of the COVID-19, and people realizing that actually this might be a way forward, a future. The future is probably with online creators. The other thing you could do is take remote work. So Amazon at the moment are offering a lot of based jobs, which, as likewise I said, I put the link down to Amazon Remote down below, and they are offering more management type jobs. But these are jobs, it's master's graduates, that managing people, that kind of thing, that you probably have done on your sports science graduate degree. So I would whack that down in below. There's often a lot of free conferences as well. A lot of people offering free conferences, free webinars, free courses. And likewise, with looking at free courses, you have to be careful about who is giving these qualifications out. Now, Udemy and places like that, brilliant, and be careful. Coursera and the Open University, all university-based degree type courses. When I meant a degree, they're part of a degree. They're like a module style course. They are offering free courses at the moment. So you might be worth jumping on to that to give you the knowledge. If you want to go and be accredited, alternatively, increase the knowledge to help improve your future practice or your current practice. Now, you could sell courses. You have skills, remember? You graduated university with a degree. You might have done a master's. And therefore, you have these particular skills you have gained throughout your career thus far. And you could sell these skills, create courses yourself, create a book that people can buy. And you don't necessarily need to get yourself self-published. You don't necessarily need to have these courses accredited, although it is better if you do so. But we don't need these traditional foundations anymore to a certain extent. For instance, with the course side of it, what one particular thing could you be really good at that you could sell and advertise as an online course with structure. Yes, it will take work. Don't get me wrong, it will take work to do that. But what's the one thing you could do that doesn't break any HCPC or other authority bodies? Only you could really answer that. So hypothetically, if you have been accredited sports psychologist, you could do one particular thing, let's say confidence, and do a course on confidence or well-being. When I say well-being, I should really highlight a certain part of well-being. Maybe you could do a course on crediting. I'm thinking off the top of my head here, but looking at paleo dieting or how to work the clean, utilizing clean derivatives. And maybe you could set that up as a 10 to 20 hour course people could do online. And that's a great way of potentially making money. How to set up as a sports scientist, market yourself online. That's another one. So these are just off ideas off the top of my head, really. But these are all things that if you have the skills, you could potentially apply and put them into practice. So we gauge that really now in terms of, one, the skills, you also say the potential ways of making money online in terms of the skills you got, in terms of being adaptable, flexible, in terms of finding remote work. And really, you have to future-proof yourself. And I believe that the way to future-proof yourself is to, and in traditional ways, you go to work 9 to 5. And that, to me, having that stability, and this is what the advantages of that is actually really good. I want to have that stability, but by working 9 to 5 in that stable job and only having that stable job, what happens if that job goes? You're buggered. Like, you got no potential money to fall back on other than your savings. So by having a side hustle that pays for itself, and it doesn't necessarily have to be passive income. So what we mean by passive income is let's say, for instance, let's use shares, for instance. You buy a number of shares, hopefully they appreciate, and then you sell them at a later date. Or you buy a house and you rent that house out. That will be hypothetically passive income. I think the irony with the term passive income is that for the most part, in order to get to passive income, even if that is if possible, you have to work hard. You have to work smart. And so therefore, the argument is, does passive income actually exist? That's probably a debate for another day, but that kind of gives you the idea and impression of what you need to do. It basically helps to make you more recession proof. And by spreading your money around certain areas, helps to protect it in case something happens. So say, for instance, YouTube went down and I lost all my advertising revenue from that, even though I'm not being advertised at the moment. But it's just an example. By putting all my eggs into that one basket, I then, in theory, have... It's just a gamble. It's a gamble that didn't pay off. And you could potentially lose money. But by spreading it around, if that goes down, okay, that's impacted me, or I lost my job, that impacted me, but I'm better serviced off because I've got my personal training. I do the fitness instructing. I aid people with sports science. That's just an example there I've given you. But you help to make yourself recession proof, but you've also helped to give yourself skills that people looking for jobs in sports science may want or need in the future. A lot of people are starting podcasts at the moment. You see bases, definitely the British Psychological Society. They got 4 or 5. I'm working for one of them at the moment for the DCEP Northern Hub, currently on a voluntary basis, but hopefully I can utilize those skills I gained from that in the future. And likewise, it's good at the moment to start something today, start it now regarding social media. Because even if you try it now, it doesn't work out, or you try it out and it does work, if you have to then stop because of the quarantine is finished or whatever, you've got skills that you can then apply elsewhere. So guys, I hope you gained a lot of information from this. I hope it hasn't seen as like a total rambling, but gained information on how you could potentially earn and learn while on quarantine, and earn and learn now. If you have any more information, put it down in the sidebar, whack it down below. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, smash that bell. Immersive sports science, not bro science. I'll see you later.